What's going on, you beautiful people? In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to take a winning ad, whether this is your winning ad or from a competitor, maybe one that has worked in the past but died off, and how to revive it using AI. So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually grab the URL of your ad and throw it into whichever workspace you're going to be using for extracting the variables from this piece of content. I'm going to be using Flow here. And after we get the piece of content downloaded, we're going to start extracting the different variables that we're then going to use AI to recreate in different ways. Now, I want to touch a little bit base on what are the variables that you're going to want to be recreating, I think is a good way to put it. So I'm just going to go ahead, pop open a new Google Doc here, and we're just going to start typing. And this is going to be important. So you have a winning piece of content, right? Maybe you don't. What you want to do is extract what has worked in the past, and essentially we're going to want to be recreating shots and story toward different personas and pockets of audience that you might not have hit with that ad, with that first ad. Okay, now what do I mean by this? Okay, so every ad has a person it's speaking to. However, the person you're likely speaking to with any given ad is likely not the only person that's going to be buying this product. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, we sell jewelry to dog moms. However, 90% of our purchases come from people giving gifts. Okay. Now, the question here is, who are all the people that can be gifted to that we can create content around? Okay. Now, we'll go a little bit deeper into this, but we have boyfriends gifting to girlfriends. We have husbands gifting to wives. We have kids gifting to parents. Beautiful. Now, let's ask ourselves, who did this original piece of content, who did it speak to originally, right? So this is your sign to cheer her up with a pet face necklace. I'll put that down a bit. But you can see this is your sign to cheer her up with a pet face necklace. It's really broad, right? We're speaking to like people buying for any any female, right? And we can get a lot more specific with this. So a good example, and what we'll do with this piece of content and recreate with this piece of content here is going to be for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up pretty quickly here, and that aligns right here, right, with kids gifting to parents, right? So if we continue to brainstorm now, what do we need to have happen? Well, we have in this original piece this girl here that's shown, which, by the way, the first step of recreating this is going to be extracting this first frame here. So we'll download that, and then we're also going to want to extract this last frame here of the first shot. And then the first kind of thought process here as we're going down this rabbit hole is the OG winner had younger girl, right, with an emotional reaction. If we're trying to have kids gifting to parents, specifically moms, what do we need to do to slightly change that, right? That's the thought process. And here in this case, we're going to want to have a mom that has an emotional reaction. What I want to do is I want to keep the winning variables from the OG one. What might those be? Right, this is what you guys need to ask yourself. As soon as you're going down this thought process, you want to make sure that you're keeping the variables that made it work while changing who it's speaking to. Does that make sense? So what are the winning variables in this one? Well, I know for a fact this one has a controversial, controversial tattoo. Okay, so this girly pop over here has an 888 tattoo, right? Like literally tattooed on her chest, right? Which is pretty controversial, causes comments. So I want to keep that aspect of it. We also have obviously the emotional reaction, and those are the main parts. Like apart from that, I mean, just raw iPhone shot, you know, reaction video, right? So this is what we need to keep the same. Now the question is, what needs to change, right? Character needs to be older and look like a mom, maybe kids running around in the back, who knows, right? So let's start actually implementing this, right? So we're going to go ahead and jump into Freepik over here. This has been my tool of choice for just building out different workflows with content. And first thing we're going to do is drag that first frame in, and then drag that last frame of that first shot in. And what we're going to do is we're going to just go scene by scene here, start the generations on some of these while we work on the next ones, so that we could just keep a steady rhythm and be efficient with our time here. Before we actually continue, what I want to do is go and grab the movement that's happening in this hook. So we'll go here and we'll just be like, extract the movement from the hook shot of the girl reacting in a detailed .json with the exact motion of her hand, the zoom of the camera, everything. And you can do this exact same thing that I'm doing here with Flow by just dropping your content in Gemini and then prompting Gemini the same way. And what this is going to do, it's going to give us just this beautiful detailed JSON here of exactly what's happening in the hook, which we'll go here and just create a little text placement for, paste it in. Beautiful. Now we're ready to start actually working with this piece of content. We're going to go ahead and drag out the first frame here. We'll click image generator, and we're going to use the Nano Banana Pro model here, not the 2. I find that the Pro still has slightly better quality. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know. And we're going to go here and we're just going to now change out the person. Well, two things. First, we're going to remove the text, then we're going to change out the person, but let's start with that. So remove the text. So we'll do that, and then we're literally going to do the exact same thing with this one. And there's now 2 ways you can approach this. We can either create a whole new person with AI and just tell it, like, make this person, you know, an older Asian woman, etc. Or we can grab references of the target demographic that we want to be showing here and then use them in the generation of the new character, if you will. In this case, we'll go ahead and we'll just play around with letting AI create the new character just for simplicity's sake. But I did want to mention that if you're able to drag in references of characters that are real people, and then you can slightly, you know, tweak and change, your result is going to be better because it's going to be trained off of content that's real. Okay, it should be good. Cool. So that generated really nicely. And then we'll go ahead and we'll drag this out here. And we're going to say, age this woman 15 years. And we'll do 10 generations of that. And we could, you know, completely change her to be a different race, which, by the way, you should test using these winning variables that have worked in previous content with just all the different personas that you might have. You know, Asian, white, black, Hispanic, doesn't matter in terms of race, older, younger, in different placements and different environments that they might naturally be in, right? test these things. In this example here, I'm going to simply make this woman seem older, like she is a mom, and then we'll likely also change the scene a little bit more just to make it a more unique piece of content. Okay, sweet. So we got a bunch of these generations back. You can see here, she definitely looks older. I'm just going to go through and select the ones that I'm not the biggest fan of, and then we will go forth with the one that I think is the best. So I'm just gonna, this one she's too happy with. I'm looking for like a really just surprised looking reaction. I'm personally liking this one here the best. Nice. And then we'll go ahead and take this shot here. We're gonna drag this out, image generator. Then we're gonna drag the new character into this one. And then we're gonna say, replace the younger girl with the older woman. Keep the tattoo and scene the same. And I like to just generate like 10 of these. You can, with their, I think it's like a 200 a year plan, use unlimited image generation, which is pretty nice. While this is generating, let's go and extract the next frames that we need from here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this frame here of the box. We'll just download that. I'll go ahead and grab this frame here of the necklace. And then I'll also grab this frame here. And I'll grab this frame here. And then I'll grab this frame here, and lastly we have this frame here. We'll hop back into here, we'll grab all of these guys and we'll drag them into our workspace. Okay, and then let's go ahead and see what we have over here. So really what I'm looking for is not to have this second box in this generation, and just have her like looking at it and like smiling, right? So like similar to what this girl's doing. So probably not this one, probably not this one. This one's really, this one's nice. Excuse me. This one, she's still like in shock. Okay. But yeah, I'm liking this one so far the best. Then the only thing I would change about this one here is to have it a little bit more zoomed in, right? Just like how she's zoomed in here. And we should be able to directly edit this one and just say, yeah, that's probably good. Can delete these. Cool. So now we have starting frame, ending frame. Yeah, we still have a little bit of her tattoo visible there. And then let's just say that we wanted this to be in a different, in a different scene per se. So what I would do is I would generate, let's just say we want the, background scene to be just a different house. Let's just use that as an example. We can drag this out and just say change the background to a different kitchen, and we'll do 10 of these. And then while this is processing, we can go back here and start working on these shots, which again, this is why I like these types of workflows, because you can just keep crunching at things. Okay, so first one that we need here is going to be this shot here. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to drag this out, image generator, and now we're going to say remove the text. And you'll see I'm going to just drag this out to make a little bit more of a easy to work with workflow for me. And then we're going to do the same for these. Sweet. So we have a few different scenes that we can check out here. This one looks fake. This one looks fake. This one's okay, but I don't like the reaction on that one. Honestly, I think that the first one here, I like this one quite a bit. So we're gonna run with that one. And then super simple, to get it on this side, we just drag and drop it over here. Image generator, and boop. And then we say replace. We can say replace the background where she is holding the box with two hands with the background. How can we describe this one? With the background with the fruits visible. So what I'm doing here is I'm specifying which shot that's injected as a reference needs to what needs to happen with each one, right? So I'm specifically saying this one where she's holding the box with two hands needs to get replaced with the background. We can get even more specific with the background slash kitchen with the fruits visible from the reference, right? And again, I'm always going to be generating a bunch of variations here because not all of them are going to be it. Cool. So now that we have these here removed, this here is quite blurry, so I'll need to re-give context on this, if that makes sense, and I'll explain that here, and as we do it, obviously. This here obviously fucked up a little bit. This here did fine. This here also did okay. This here also did okay. Okay, so what we want to do in this case here is going to be just regenerating this. I might do like 3 of them, and then we'll regenerate this. And then in this case here, let me think. What I want to do with this one, honestly, is I'm just going to add another reference of the product. You'll see what I'll do. We'll literally just grab this reference here. We'll bring it down, and then we'll paste it in here, and we'll delete those. Okay, and then we can go ahead and fix this by just dragging this out, image generator, and dragging this guy in here, and then replace the pendant with the spot is his name, with the spot pendant, and then increase quality of image, probably also like 10. We'll drag this out over here. We'll run that. Okay, this one's still fucked up. Yeah, for some reason these pixels are that's why. Yeah, this is super grainy. So this is a fun one. I can grab the original shot if I wanted to and use it as reference, but this is a good example of like where AI can fuck up. Is if you're, yeah, like if you're using a reference here where you can see the pixels, just the motion that this was having caused the pixels to get fucked up, which is fine. I mean, this is this is fixable. It just ties into the importance of that initial reference image that you're using. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just, I'm gonna hippity hoppity and grab just a cleaner shot of this. So I just grabbed a screenshot from the ad in the ad account that's a little bit higher res. Okay. And then this did a pretty good job. I want to grab the one that's going to have the clearest frame, and you'll see why. I'm going to probably go with this one here. I'll leave those as options, but probably go with this one here, and you'll see what I'm going to do with it. We're going to go ahead and just completely now change the background of this scene. We're going to say replace the background with a meadow of flowers. Let's go with an endless meadow of flowers. And what I'm doing here is now I want to just completely change the vibe, right? Like I don't want it to be beachy. I want it to be more tied in with moms, with flowers, with, right? So I'm thinking back on what we were brainstorming in that doc earlier as I'm doing this. And then whatever we generate here, we're then going to use to change up some of these other shots as well. Okay, sweet. Yeah, this is better. Let's see what we got here. Cool. So we got now the correct swap that happened. We'll remove this, we'll remove this. And then let me think which one of these I like the best. I'm gonna go with this one because I want the tattoo to be seen. Beautiful. And now we're gonna go ahead and animate this. Drag this out, video generator, and this is, sorry, the end frame. So we can just start with the starting frame and then drag in the end frame. And then we're going to use Kling 3.0 here for this. This only needs to be 3 seconds long. And we're going to say, we're going to drag in our reference here for the motion that we extracted. And then we're going to go ahead and just generate, let's do 4 of these. You'll see you'll use about 1,000 credits. And I know I get a bunch of people asking, like, how much are the credits and how much does it cost per each one? You're getting about 30,000 credits for $32, right? So 32 over 30,000 is roughly this much per credit. And let's just say that cost us, was it like 1,000 credits roughly? 1,000 something, but anyways, roughly 1,000 credits. So that was about $1 for 4 3-second clips. Now, not all of these clips are going to be it. Maybe none of these clips are going to be it. That's one challenge with doing this stuff, is you're going to get generations that are not going to be what you want them to be, and you have to regenerate over and over until you prompt it correctly and get it to look how you want it to look. But once you do so, you can get some pretty cool shit. Okay, cool. So this looks kind of cool. Yeah, I like this one. This one doesn't. Yeah, some of these just don't look how I want them to. I also like this one here a lot. Yeah, this one here I think is currently the top. And then what we can do is we can drag this guy here out over here. Can drag in this guy as a reference. And then we can say recreate the box being held with the flower background. What the flower background? And then we'll obviously generate 10 of these guys. For some reason, my ass had 2 of these exact same shots. So I'm just gonna delete all that hard work. And then, check this out. Now we're gonna take this guy and we're gonna put it on that mom. So now we can go back up here. Grab this woman. We'll drag this as the reference. And we will say, put this necklace on the woman, on the older woman with the 888 tattoo. We'll generate 10 of these. Just gonna clean up the workspace a little bit here. So you can see the one issue, or the one thing I don't like here, is that we didn't necessarily take into consideration perspective. And I'm going to show you something cool here that you can also do to take into consideration perspective. So you can see it generated here pretty much the box, right? But and it kept the correct background. But we didn't take into consideration that it's more of an overhead shot. So I'll show you how we can fix that. So we'll just go ahead, remove this is the original. We'll remove these, and then here's a little test I'll show you. So let's first play with this one here. Let's test with this. Change the camera angle so this is change the camera angle to look down. Change the camera angle to look down. Look more down. We want this to be a shot. Toward the floor. And there was another way to change the angles, but I'm either blind or they changed it. Maybe it's this image generator one. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so we're going to change the camera angle here, and we're going to raise this up a little bit so that this is what we're looking at. Yeah, and again, there's multiple ways you can change the angle, so I resorted to just prompting for it originally, but we'll see what gets better results. I knew that Freepik had it, they just changed where it's located in. Okay, so the issue we had here is that the reference we used previously overrode this, right? So we need to specify better in our prompt that we want it to be the shot, a close-up shot of the necklace being worn. Recreate the exact photo of the close-up of the necklace being worn, but on the older woman's neck with the 888 tattoo. Same close-up shot and same necklace. And again, great example of like how you have to massage some of this stuff. Okay, sick. Yeah, so I'm liking some of these a lot. I like how this one's a little bit at an angle. So you can see both the prompting one as well as this other one did a pretty decent job, but this one looks fucking artificial as shit. Cool. So the prompting one won. I wanted more of like this shot towards the flowers, which essentially is, this is going to be our the shot that comes after the reaction. Yeah, so essentially in terms of shot order, this is going to be first, similar, right, to this one. Obviously after the hook one, which we have some results back here. Let's take a look. This one hallucinated. Okay, so pretty much none of these are ones I would utilize, to be completely blunt with you. And I'll show you how I'm going to regenerate them to get what I want. So this first one's the best one. But what I want to do is I actually want to extend this one more second. I want to go 4 seconds. And then I want to say her mouth stays open in shock for 2 seconds as she unboxes. As she unboxes and sets the box. Unboxes and holds up the product. Then she smiles in awe. And again, we'll do like 3 generations here, right? So there's that would be 4, yeah, first now 4 seconds. 1,400 credits, so there's another dollar something that runs, right? So you know what I'm saying, like it can add up if you're doing lots of regenerations, which all boils down to your prompting and what you get with the output. Again, just full transparency of the current tech, how you can utilize it. As you can see, with that prompt, significantly better results from it. And I'm just gonna go with something that I think this one here is good, right? So we're just gonna yoink that, yoink that, yoink. Let me see what this one's originally wearing. I guess she's wearing this black top, so that would make the most amount of sense if it was also the black top. Let's just go. This one looks so realistic. Holy shit. Cool. So we got this shot that's ready. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of drag these out over here as they're ready in order, right? So we got this one that's ready. So we showcase meadow, showcase product in it. Then we obviously showcase it being worn. Then we showcase these here, right? So we can go ahead and then recreate this with the same meadow. So I'm just gonna like drag this over here, image generator, and then we'll literally just drag the same exact meadow reference, which I believe is, it's this guy over here. That's not what I wanted to do, sorry. It's late, don't judge me. I'm gonna drag it here. And then we're gonna say recreate the close-up shot of the necklaces in the flower meadow. Let that generate. And let's take a look at these up here. Nice. Nice, I like these a lot better. I don't like the look at the box. It like, there's a little bit of disfiguration there. Yeah. And this one kind of tweaks out a little bit. But I like how she puts this one in the bag. Yeah, I think this is pretty solid. And then we don't get the zoom right from the original, but we can edit that in post-production pretty easily. And I do love the reaction on this one. I don't like there's a little bit of a glitch that happens in the box here, so, you know, that can be weighed on if you want to use it or not. I will probably go with this one over here, unless this one here is better, but no, this one here wins. Right, so you can see like we spent $2 essentially to generate this clip here, but if you were to pay somebody to do this, it's going to cost you more than $2, bro. Cool, so we have now final hook shot that was generated, and then let's go and let's go ahead and generate these. So we're gonna go ahead and generate this out, video generator, and we're gonna say slight camera pan as box is shown. We'll do 3, and we only need like 3 seconds of this. You can see that was 800 credits, so less than $1. And then this one here, same thing. We can say camera stays still as hand slowly rotates the box. Slowly rotates. No, I don't know if rotates is slowly pans the box. Slight wind blowing the flowers in the meadow. Same thing, 3 shots, 3 seconds. Generate. And then this one here, video generator. And we'll say camera slowly pans camera slowly pans to the necklace pendant. Slowly pan, zooms to the necklace pendant that has the dog engraved on it. And then also same thing, 3 seconds, 3 clips, generate. Cool, and then we have these here. Let's see which one works the best. Ooh, I really like this one. I don't love the engraving on it, but I think it's pretty nice. Yeah, so not this. What we can do is we can say keep the shot the same, change background to flower meadow. Use that OG reference. Add it into here. Do 10 variations. You can see it's getting progressively laggier as we're as we're loading a bunch of shit in here. Only thing I don't want is I don't want it to be the exact same shot, right? This is pretty much the exact same shot. I like this one. We're gonna run with this one. It's gonna be slightly different, but that's totally chill. So this is gonna be the one that we're gonna use then over here. Let's take a look. We have some of these coming back. Nice. I like this one a lot. This one's also cool. I don't like the seam of the box on this one. Either this one here or this one here. This one moves it pretty quickly. Don't like how quickly that one moves it. Also don't like how quickly that one moves it. I would need to describe like even more slowly, right? I love these. These have come out nicely. I think I'm gonna probably go with this one here. This one's also nice. I also don't like how quick it's zooming into them, but again, all this can be prompted differently to equal different results. Let's go ahead and get this one started while we work on those other ones. Hand holds box still as wind slightly blows flowers. Let's see what we got here. So for this one here, what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove these. We're going to just keep this one up here, and then we're going to drag in the original reference of this pendant. That's not clear there either. basically, the way I would make this even better would be to get a clearer shot of this pendant, right? So like, again, if you're working with details, having better context for details. But I want to make this closer, right? So we're just going to go into the image editor, and we're going to want to zoom into that, and then crop, done, and then I want to upscale this. And then what I'm going to change with this one, we're going to say camera stay still as hand, slight pans the box. We're going to say camera and hand stay still. Slight wind blowing the flowers in the meadow. We'll do 3 of these. I think I'm just going to like that output a little bit better. But this is good to go. This is phenomenally done. And then we're going to piece this together. And then I'm going to launch it in the ad account. Ooh. Yes. Yeah, I like this a lot. Not so much this one, but this one's a winner. Yeah, and then we have our upscaled image here. Beautiful. And then we're just going to say video. And then we're going to say camera and hand stay still as wind slightly blows flowers in the meadow. Again, like 3 seconds is fine. And then let's decide on this shot here. Honestly, I'm gonna give it to you straight. We're just gonna not have the camera pan. Camera stays still. Camera stays still. Slight human movement. But yeah, this looks insane. Let's choose between these two. Honestly, they're both, like, I like both of them for their own unique ways. Like, I like how simple this one is. Like, it feels really real. This one maybe a little bit more artificial with the hand, but I think the movements of both of them are pretty good. I'm gonna rock with this first one, to be honest with you. And let's see, we have some slight movements of it. Not perfect, but we're getting closer. This could even be just slowed down slightly and used. We'll do one more regeneration of this one here. Nice, I love this one. Let's go. How's this first one look? Not as good. This one's the winner. I kind of like this one originally the best. So we'll rock with it. Cool, and then let's start downloading these. Just download. Download, 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 and then we're just waiting on this shot here. While we're waiting on that final shot, let's go ahead and grab the original video. I'm just gonna go ahead and download it directly from here. Primarily just want the music from this, and then let's go ahead and pop open CapCut, where we're gonna stitch this together. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab all of our shots here. Drag them in. Yes, I'm glad we waited. This is the one. All right. And now we get to stitch together. Let's go ahead and drag that original music. And then we're just going to start piecing this together one by one. This goes first. And then we're going to likely start it in a very similar manner, where we have our mouth open at the beginning. Yep, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. We fucking nailed it with that shot. Okay, cool. So that runs right up to there. Beautiful. And then we're gonna chuck in the box being shown. We're gonna start it as he's as he starts panning a little bit. And then I believe we change to the next shot right around here. So we'll just go ahead and grab that next shot. Beautiful. We have then box that's again shown. So we have originally box that's shown, then we have this that's being shown. I'm almost down to just run it next with, let's do this. And then we're gonna make this guy a little bit bigger. Yeah. Nice. And then that's going to transition into Girly Pop wearing it. Same thing here. We're going to add a little bit of a cut and then zoom that in. Make this a little higher. Nice. And then we're going to go ahead and toss in this shot over here. And then we're going to go ahead and toss in the final one here. Beautiful. Move that back, drag that a little bit further. Let's make this slightly, well, we can just go ahead and you can see kind of the background original shot a little bit through that one, which is fine. I mean, we can just increase this by a few pixels. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and add some text overlay on this. Again, you want to be considering the persona that you're speaking to here. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag this over here. And this text overlay will be on for a majority of this up until the call to action. Oh, and then we can run that zoom that we were talking about. And then like we can start that zoom here. Zoom in, which would be here. So that would like and we can make that faster actually. And obviously the text placement here could be, you know, altered. Like we could bring this down if we wanted to. I would like to keep it up here just because that's where the original placement was. And then we're going to just go ahead, copy paste this, drag that here, and change this to our call to action, which is going to be our offer. And we're going to say today, Mother's Day sale. We're going to do flower. Mother's Day sale, 60% off. Nice, right? export, boom. That's crazy. We just built that entirely with AI, bro. Hopefully this was beneficial. You guys know where to find me. Peace.